My name is Charlotte and I am the 2016 Girl of the Year. I go to Riki Elementary School. I am in 2nd grade. My favorite subject is math because it's fun. What I like to do during the day when I'm not in school is I usually like to draw. I like to play with my brother. I like to run around. I'm here to tell you about my story when I had Burkitt's leukemia.
So Charlotte was diagnosed in April of 2013. We were sitting around the dinner table having dinner one evening, and the left side of her face went limp. And so we were thinking, is it a stroke? What's going on? So we called the advice nurse and they asked us to take her to Dornbecker to get seen. And so we were up at the ER that night, and they originally diagnosed it as Bell's palsy, and then said follow up in a week with your primary care. And it could take a while for the paralysis to go away. But then over the next week or so, she took a real turn downhill, and she was throwing up randomly, just started to become more and more tired and complaining of her stomach hurting. She stopped eating and was starting to lose weight, and this is over the course of maybe 7 days, 8 days. And so I think it was a Saturday morning we woke up and decided it's time to take her to Dornbecker. And they did blood work and finally did the ultrasounds and found that she had tumors throughout her kidney and her liver, they found cancer cells in her blood and in her spinal column. We would learn over the next day, we learned that the source tumor was in her brain, and so that was what had originally caused the paralysis. And so that was, that day we learned she had stage 4 Burkitt's leukemia, and we were immediately admitted into the hospital and pretty much would live there for the next 6 months while we went through treatment.
During that 6-month period, we really were only home for about 20 days of that. So it's disrupting to your whole life, and in the midst of that, you're fearful for your child and fearful of what's going to happen, and there's a lot of uncertainty. And so there was a lot of sadness and fear that sort of overtakes you during that period of time.
Because Burkitt's leukemia is so aggressive, from the moment the tumor started to present itself, it was 2 weeks, and they had said if we hadn't gone up, she probably had a couple more days to live. I think a doctor told us when we were diagnosed, what we need is to get her to survive the treatment. She's going to survive the cancer. What we have to do is get her to survive the treatment because the treatment is so intense. So I think within her first week, when they redid all the scans, she had already shown to be cancer-free. The tumors were gone. They couldn't find any tumor in her brain. With the full MRI, there was no cancer in her blood at that point. So, it responds that quickly, but then they continue to sort of wipe you out and to make sure that it doesn't get a chance to come back again. I became aware of LLS kind of right away. I think when you're first diagnosed, I was gonna, you have this whole new language and world to learn, and so I was busy trying to find resources and look up anything I could find. And LLS, I reached out to them, and they provided me with a huge packet of information all around, some specific to her type of cancer, also just to treatment.
I would just say that this cause, and LLS in particular, is a great resource for not only those children and families and people that are going through that treatment, but it's also a great resource for the ultimate goal of finding a cure. And I think for us, having gone through that experience, it brings it to a different point of importance. And so I would just like to have people understand that and what an important organization it is and what an important cause it is. And for us, it's touched our family very personally. And so I would ask that people would consider donating money or time and to be able to fund an organization like LLS.
Please help find a cure for cancer.